You guys are funny.
We still don't care. Anytime, anywhere.
And now, the World Tag Team Champions. Cock back the hammer, watch me lay him down. Saw face the villains, we don't play around. Nobody make a sound. Oh! Grab your women and children to get the safer ground. The Kingston like the Jamaican town. Futuristic flow, dark start with a laser sound. Leaving nothing but a vapor trail. And my bass heavyweight, no shake, I'ma break the scale.
Vector, we have followed your instructions to the letter.
Let me just cut to the chase. You have a bucket of weight.
Hello, and welcome to the WrestleCollective Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Slick Flair, Jordan Carter. As always, I'm joined by my fellow collective cohorts. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I just made sure to get the stream out on the Twitter. You know, make sure to like, repost. Everyone, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, shopwc.com. Great week. Great episode of Dynamite. Watched some Raw. I got roped into NXT again. I swear to God, Dev. I don't know how he does it. Like that silver-tongued devil. But he got me to watch NXT for the second week in a row.
That's why he's the bard of the collective.
Pray for me. I might not make it in 2026 if he keeps this up.
We are also joined in by our lovely cohort from across the pond, Hannibal Scorch. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm glad to be back. I'm sorry that Dev had to terrorize everyone last week. I knew that was going to happen. I would have just, not gone to sleep. But, here we are.
I'm glad to have you back this week. You look good. Want to give a real quick shout out because he gave you a shout out earlier on No Dirt Just Dialogue with myself, Andrew Badal, and Drew Springsteen. So I just want to shout them out because we gave you a little bit of love on that show. So definitely check that out if you guys want to hear that. But I'm also joined by a new look Grumpy Omega.
What's up, guys? I'm putting in my formal application to be the third outrunner. You can see I got my Truth Turbo. I think there's room for my name right across the bridge up here. So if you're watching Truth, I know you follow me. I know you like my stuff. Come on, baby. You can't deny this face.
I love it. And we are also joined by the one, the only, the advocate of Enochiism.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you guys there.
No book?
No,
I was playing with Snap Ships. Today's episode brought to you by Snap Ships. That's a lie. We are not getting paid.
No. We're not yet. But if you are from Snap Ships and you want to sponsor us,
they fun as hell.
Yes, we will take it. Man, this has been a very interesting week in the world of wrestling. Today, we're going to be getting into corporatization in wrestling. What some of the kind of corporatizedness of wrestling, where it started, where we're at now. Do you like it? Do you love it? Does it fit? So a lot to talk about there. But before we do, Advocate. We'll start with this week in wrestling history. Advocate, what happened this week in wrestling history?
It's this week in wrestling history. Fuck the authority.
Yeah.
All right, this week in wrestling history. Let me just pull up my notes here real quick. Let me go. Sorry. Should be more prepared, but all right, here we go. We are ready now. February 16th, 1986, at the NWA Battle of the Belts, the company debuted the iconic big gold belt. My favorite title of all time. This is like the quintessential world title to me. When I was a kid, obviously, most of the people know I watched WCW. So this was the first world title that I ever saw. And it has colored my view ever since of like what a world title should be and should look like. What do y'all think? Y'all big fans of
I think the big gold belt is probably the second best title design of all time. The first one being New Japan V4.
Not the hardcore title?
Which one?
WWF.
Well,
The one with the license plate.
Yeah, I was about to say Tommy Dreamer.
I like the trophy that WCW had when they had that big match in the junkyard.
Well, I was going to say, because I like Tommy Dreamer's the New York license plate hardcore title. That was pretty good. But as far as title designs go, the big gold belt, would you guys say that's the most iconic wrestling belt of all time?
I mean, TNA made it there.
The original NWA, the 10 pounds of gold. Like, I feel like that one is right up there too, just because so many famous champions, Flair, Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, that was the belt that they all had.
Tyrus.
Oh,
Tyrus. Yeah. Trevor Murdoch. Was famously.
Nick Aldis.
I really
Tim Storm.
Don't swear in front of me. I really like the big belt, but for me, if I was talking like the most iconic, it would be the Winged Eagle, just because when I started to watch, and again, I think a lot of this comes down to when you started and what you started watching. That was the belt at the time, and so therefore it is, iconic to me. But that said, the big gold belt didn't like every WCW Galoob have the big gold belt. Every wrestler had the big gold belt. So
everyone,
generation
and
of
a couple of non-wrestlers.
I'll tell you this as we get to the next part of wrestling. One of the reasons why I love the big gold belt, and I'm about to age myself here. There used to be a rapper popular in the South here named Pastor Troy, and Pastor Troy would walk around with the big gold belt. Like he would call himself the champ, and he would walk around with a big gold belt. And I used to be a real big Pastor Troy fan when I was younger. I'm probably gonna get flamed in the comments for that, but
I think the comments are gonna say who
exactly.
Hey, look, I love pasta. I don't know what it's a great carbohydrate, fills you up.
Based on the waistlines of the collective, I think most of us like pasta.
Whoa. Now I'm a little. You know what I mean?
There he is.
What's next in this week? Yeah, see, I told my man Pastor Troy. I'm telling you, he's still walking around.
He should have carried around the TNA version.
Yeah, my man Pastor Troy.
He's got it in like every one of these photos. It's crazy.
I've told you, bro. He's been doing it for a long time.
If you do count the TNA version, that means Kenny Omega technically held the big gold.
What else is this week? What happened this week in this wrestling history? If I can get it out.
February 17th, 2002, we had the WWE debut of the NWO, Hogan, Nash, and Hall, after 6 years away from the company, or 9 years for Hogan. So not something that I watched as a kid. I was well out of watching wrestling at this point, but if I had known, it might have been enough to get me to come back in. At the time, I just didn't know about it. What did y'all think about the WWE NWO?
I was super, super excited. So for those who don't remember, Vince made a promo about how he was going to inject the company with a
you gotta go back. You gotta go back. He was doing those promos for weeks.
Yes.
And we didn't know exactly what he was referring to, what he was talking about. He was doing these promos, and you're like, what is he referring to? What is he talking
cryptic.
about? Not only that, he was doing the promos in black and white. So like, what is he?
And wasn't it because of Flair?
I want to say it was because of Flair, right?
Yeah,
and so he was doing and I'm sorry, Hannibal, to steal your but because I love this promo, the reveal, because he just says he's going to inject the poison, turns his chair around, and it shows the NWO, and you're like, what the fuck? What, the NWO? Oh my god!
The weird thing with that though And the thing is, I was only talking about it because I wasn't sure who else was watching at the time. So I'm glad that I wasn't alone in this. But the thing that struck me the most when he turned around was the instant, like what you did was like, oh my God, the NWO. And then I'm looking at it going, that doesn't look like the NWO logo though, does it? It looks like someone just really quickly has got a bit of Tipex and just, Vince realized he needs to do a reveal. Like, they couldn't even stick the proper logo on the chair. It looked cheap. But when they like re-debuted, was it No Way Out? Did they?
Yes.
It was No Way Out, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember watching that, the backstage promo of The Rock, where he was going, Big Daddy called Diesel, which we saw a million times afterwards. Yeah, man, I was all in because I didn't get to. I'd stopped watching wrestling when the NWA came in, so everything I knew about them was through video games and reading stuff online. So now I was going to actually experience the NWO. And, for the first couple of months, it was really good. And then just like it did in 96,
Yes. I love the start of the NWO and WWE, great. The finish, not so much.
I will say,
when Booker T
No
joined the
Way Out
NWO was
set,
weird.
that set for No Way Out, God, what a great set.
That period of time was so good where every pay-per-view had a special set. Like, I'll always remember, because again, I'd only been watching a few months at this point again, but I remember Backlash in the year 2000 had these pendulums, these massive pendulums that were at the top of the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was just for like a one night thing, and then you'd never see them again. Like, staging at that time was incredible. Like, wrestling has never, for me, with stuff like that, never looked better. Never looked more like what
more
it should
trusses,
do.
less LEDs. I think that's the edict here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you.
What else we got?
All right. Also on February 17th, but in 2008, a very important moment in wrestling history happened. Floyd Mayweather Jr. broke Big Show's nose.
That was a shoot, right? Like,
he broke his nose. Big Show told him to be fair. Big Show was like, "Oh, break my nose. It'll get you tons of heat or whatever." And Floyd Mayweather, being, arguably the greatest boxer of his generation, was like, "Okay, you want me to." And then he did. Also, this led to one of my all-time favorite celebrity matches. As somebody who, in general, is not a big fan of celebrity matches, I thought Big Show.
I would say it's probably. I would say for WWE's sake, it's probably one of their better, if not the best.
I agree.
Tyson, Bad Bunny,
Bad Bunny had a great one too.
But this is the Floyd was probably one of the more
Bad Bunny had multiple good ones.
Well, the thing about Floyd Mayweather is that he actually got pro wrestling in a way that, like, even people who do the moves really well, like, who are able to take to that, like, they don't necessarily get, like, the psychology. Like, the way that, like, when Big Show grabs his neck and is dragging him back to the ring, the way he's pawing at him, the way that they play the size against the two men, I just think that I was like, oh, this guy, he gets pro wrestling. It was a really great celebrity match, in my opinion.
I would say it's probably one of the best, yeah.
Is it better than Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn, though? That's the question.
Yes. 100%.
That was an unironically fun match.
Oh, so fun. So fun.
Unironically fun, for sure. But, in the sake of time, because we're going to have a pretty good conversation, we're going to skip what's happening in your wrestling worlds, because I know what's happening in your wrestling world. And let's get into kind of some of the news and movements of the wrestling week. Last week we had a pretty fun Grand Slam show, which saw some. We saw one title change. I want to say one was it two? Yeah, one title.
change. No title changes on Grand Slam.
No title change. Yeah, because there was no title changes, but
great matches, but no title change.
Some great matches. What did you guys think of Grand Slam? We don't need to get into the weeds about Grand Slam, but what did you guys think about Grand Slam? Advocate, I'll start with you.
I thought it was an excellent show. I thought the match quality was very high. The matches between Mox and Takeshita was one of my particular favorites. Also, Briscoe Fletcher really delivered. MJF and Brody King really delivered. The women's tag title match didn't really hit for me that well, but it wasn't a terrible match by any means. It just didn't have like that.
It wasn't as heated.
Yeah, it wasn't as heated, you know. Also, I felt, you know, sometimes a match isn't hurt by me kind of expecting the finish. You know, like I expected Fletcher to beat Mark Briscoe. But in this one, even though I expected the finish, I guess, you know, like some people, I was like a little disappointed. I was kind of hoping that we would see the women's tag titles sort of, you know, go in a new direction, or maybe we tell a different story, sort of separate them from the TBS titles.
Yeah, no, it was, again, it was a good show. Grumpy, what did you think of Grand Slam?
I am right along there with Advocate. I mean, great show, almost like a mini pay-per-view. You know, 2.5, went 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours of jam-packed television. They fit a lot into that show. And yeah, man, I don't have any critiques, any negative things to say about it. I loved it. I always love Collision. And this was just like a super special deluxe episode of Collision for me. So I was all about it.
I do want to really quickly, there's a narrative that, you know, this show did really well because AEW fans don't have Valentine's Day dates or something like that. One, that's a weird assumption to assume the goings of other people's lives. And two, they were hyping up this show as a big show. You know, it's something that you couldn't miss. They were hyping it up for a while now. So yeah, you're probably going to see an uptick. And that was the purpose is to get an uptick. It just so happens that it fell on Valentine's Day.
How was your Valentine's Day, by the way?
My Valentine's Day was great because it was the day before my birthday. So mine was perfect. And I got to chill, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to divulge too much of my personal life, but I had a great Valentine's Day. But I will say this. You saw an increase in a great number. And the only reason why I'm going to talk about that, because Hannibal, that's a little bit your department as well, is that it was hyped up and it was a really, really good show. You know,
but
so
it also had stiff competition.
And that's another thing. They had some, well, I won't say stiff competition, that the dunk contest.
The NBA All-Star?
The dunk
dunk contest sucked, but there was a 3-point contest.
Which also was because why would you have Damian Lillard who hasn't played not 1 minute in the 3-point contest?
Listen, Adam Silver is compromised. Stop trying to assume logical decisions.
Who wants to watch a 3-point con? Anybody can shoot a basketball.
Whoa, time out.
I'm like, I can't slam. Tell me the dunk contest.
I'm gonna take a little side really quick. I'm gonna tell you one of the greatest 3-point contest winners, Larry Bird. Why the 3-point contest is important. Larry Bird one day came up and was getting ready for this 3-point contest. He was looking around. And somebody asked him, like, man, what you looking at the competition for? What's going on? What's going in your head? He was like, I'm just looking to see who's going to finish second. Do you know how badass that is? That man.
I mean, that's badass, but that still doesn't make a 3-point shot.
Hold on. He said that after he won the first year when he was in his warm-up. He didn't even take the warm-up off.
My debate is not that whether Larry Bird is cool or not. He is cool. That I will not argue with. I am just not interested in seeing people shoot threes.
So
like,
it comes down to
awesome.
this. It comes down to the
motherfuckers jump over the car and hit a slam dunk. That's what
they ain't doing that no more. They ain't doing that no more. They ain't doing that no more. Look at this year's dunk contest.
You know what this contest
I was
reminded
watching Collision.
No, Jordan. You know what this dunk contest reminded me of? You remember the one from '97?
97 was all right, but yeah.
97 was the one that got canceled.
Yeah, it wasn't their best. Yeah. I know what you mean. So yeah, I'll give you.
How many years was that before you were born, Graps?
I went back and watched it. It was 6 years.
Yeah, but no. Anyway, Collision got a bump. Though it was up against some stiff competition. Hannibal, what did you think of Grand Slam? How did you feel about it?
I mean, look, Grand Slam last year was good in Australia. I was hoping that we'd get the same this year, and we did. You know, it was full of good matches. Yeah, Yeah, I can't really say anything more than what others have said. The rating stuff is really funny, only because like I actually expected it to do worse than it did. But I believe the ratings are taken like live and about 12 hours after. So again, like just people frame it weird. It's like if AEW does something good or does well in something, somebody has to find a way to, create their own narrative for it. It's weird. You are weird. Stop being weird.
Just wrestling fans in general, because I've been seeing the same thing with TNA. Now, full disclosure, I don't like or watch TNA, but for people to act like, oh, the ratings are fake because they got a better number than they did the week before, I'm like, why is that impossible? Like, I'm like, oh, maybe some people do like it. It's not me, but it's somebody.
There is something I got to say about the relationship of WWE to AEW to TNA, and it's that AEW fans for the longest time have said, why do numbers matter to you when, the toxic part of the WWE fan base just focuses on numbers. Just a PSA, don't be those people that turn around and apply that same attack against TNA. Let TNA be. AEW can be let be. WWE can be let be. If you don't like them doing it, don't do it to somebody else.
Facts. Preach, bro.
And Ryan, what did you think about Grand Slam as we get ready to transition?
I was a little busy. No, I didn't have a hot date, but I was a little busy on Saturday. I didn't get to catch the whole event, but I did see everything from Briscoe Fletcher onwards. And from what I saw, I enjoyed it. Great matches. It's weird. Standard AEW fare, I think, would be the correct way to describe it, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I wish we got more of these sort of Grand Slam events that are not necessarily a pay-per-view, not necessarily like a regular episode, but something a little in between, kind of like how Quake by the Lake used to be. I wish we got more of that stuff, a little less on the pay-per-views. That's just my preference.
Bro's obsessed with Quake by the Lake.
It's
the only thing I would say,
Quake by the Lake and Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, the only thing I would say to that is that I think what was a little bit strange was the Dynamite before Grand Slam had not more exciting matches, but it had more exciting results. It had things we weren't expecting. Grand Slam in comparison didn't have that shock value, but it had great matches. So I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't not entertained, but I'm surprised that we got the title changes on both title changes on Dynamite and not at least had one of those collision. But it is what it is.
It was a good show. They hyped it up, and I think it delivered. My only knock on the show was I hate tape shows. Just not, especially when they're big, events like it was. So just not the big
like
fan.
the league.
I hate that. But that as we transition into Raw this week. We were talking about it, pre-show. Standard fare, I would say. Nothing really, extravagant or crazy came out of Raw this particular week. One thing I do want to point out is we got another masked man involvement. I think the more they do this masked man, and it's obviously not Seth Rollins, I think the more it hurts the story when it finally will be Seth Rollins. Because you can clearly tell that it's not Seth. I think they should have just did it the one time, and then that's that. Like, have them, is it Seth? Is it not Seth? Just have it.
You can tell it's not Seth.
You can.
That doesn't mean it's not going to be not Seth.
So then I'll go to you. I'll go to you. What did you think about another masked man? Curb stomp.
So I actually have a question for you guys on this, because I feel like, honestly, this might be something we need to ask at this point. Is this just like an inside rib? They're like, all right, guys, how many times can we do this masked man stuff? But before people get tired of it, right? How many times can we put Grayson Waller under a mask, call him Seth Rollins, and people get tired of it?
Oh, it's plainly Grayson Waller, by the way. Like, I saw a close up of him, And although his face was covered up, you could see enough of his eyes and enough of his mouth to go, that's Grayson Waller.
Not saying that is Grayson Waller under there. I'm just,
No.
the point
I can say with like some level of certainty it's Grayson Waller. I don't think it will be revealed as Grayson Waller, but that is definitely who is portraying the masked man at the moment.
Honestly, that would be really funny. I wish it was like revealed as Grayson Waller at this point, just for the fun of it, right?
Yeah,
because I enjoy a little bit of bad wrestling from time to time.
Well, actually, the bad wrestling is I'm
not even saying Grayson Waller is a bad worker, but just story wise, it would be.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
But I'll be honest. I did try. I was going to watch Raw this week, and then I turned it on about 10 minutes in, and it was LA Knight and the Usos versus the Vision, and I was like, I grandpaed Simpsons straight out of there. I'm sorry, I could not do it to myself.
Grand closing.
Yeah, that is actually what I tweeted. Tweeted grand opening, grand closing. It was, and I did catch the highlights the next day. I don't know if it's because she's returned and she's been away for a while, but I really thought the Becky Lynch AJ Lee promo was a bit dire.
So let's talk about that, because I know Advocate and Grumpy definitely feel a type of way about this particular promo. I did not like it. I thought it was, Becky Lynch is typically really strong on the mic, right? Becky Lynch typically can cut you a decent promo, get you ready for the match. You know, she's kind of one of those one with the people promos that I like to say. Like she gets with the people and in tune with the crowd, and so her promo kind of comes off as really, really well. This one, the crowd wasn't really behind what she was saying, and I think you could tell. Like I don't want to say it got to her because she's a consummate professional, but the rest of her promo then doesn't flow or is good because the crowd wasn't so behind her. And then you have AJ Lee, who never was the strongest talker, comes back off of just, the last we saw her was
8 years, 7 years, something like that.
No, well, but yeah, 8 years, 7 years ago, where she really cut a promo. Like when's the last time we've seen? I think
it was in the build to the WrestlePalooza.
You're right. It was in that build, and even then, I'll start with you. Wasn't the greatest promo. So, Advocate, what did you? I know you have some thoughts because I know you saw the promo. What did you think?
Well, I didn't see it, but I heard it on the Discord.
Oh yeah, because you were over here.
I was at work, but I could hear Dev, and the amount of like uncomfortable silence from the audience was so palpable. Like, this was agonizing. It took forever. And to what you were saying about Becky Lynch, I mean, I don't think The Rock could have gone on after that and cut a promo that these people care. But she killed anything that they want. They don't want to hear nothing after she was done talking, after she was done with this whole soliloquy that she did. I just don't understand, bro. Like, are people still like in this AJ Lee? Are they still standing, or have we moved on as a species?
I think from what I've been able to tell, and maybe this is just because I don't see as much Stan Twitter on my feed. I haven't seen a lot of AJ Lee stands come out the woodworks for this or anything like that.
I was going to film this one.
My thing here is, right? AJ, great for her time. It was like, she feels very inauthentic. She sounds like a 40-year-old trying to talk and act like a 25-year-old. That's how it feels to me. And then on top of that, it feels like her and Becky just don't have great chemistry. So it seems like it's not set up to work.
No,
I feel that was a personal shot at me there.
Well,
40-year-old talking like 25-year-old.
Grumpy, I'm not sure if you got a chance to check it out, but I do want to ask what you thought.
I watched it later. I didn't watch it live. I happened to cross it in my Twitter feed, and yeah, it's just weird, man. This promos is something they usually do well, and the the production, the entertainment. I know we call it sports entertainment, and it's kind of a trope, but the production and the entertainment is really one of their stronger pegs. And it's weird. I mean, every once in a while you get something that just doesn't resonate, that doesn't fall flat. Every once in a while there's an SNL skit that just is a stinker, right? So somebody pitched this at the table, somebody wrote this out and handed it to them, and it doesn't feel like all the people were on board with it, and nobody gave it their best effort. I don't know. That's all I can assume.
Yeah, because this is one of those things where it's like Becky Lynch, AJ Lee, two big, great stars. But the matches aren't wrestled on paper. The promos aren't cut on paper. The cut in front of the audience.
That promo was so bad, 1,000 people sold their WrestleMania tickets trying to avoid seeing it.
Jeez.
That's not a joke. That's not a joke, by the way.
That's kind of a shoot, brother. That's kind of a shoot.
So what you're saying is when they meant let's light it up, let's light up those sections on Ticketmaster?
Yeah. The thing is, like I said, this standard fare episode of Raw, I said that Raw and WWE were on fire. They were all the way up until Royal Rumble, and it seems like now we're in holding position. Like we're circling the landing strip, and we haven't gotten clearance to land just yet. And because I am not excited for Elimination Chamber. I believe it's next week. I am not excited for Elimination Chamber. I don't really care for Elimination Chamber. Like, I think Javon Evans is going to do a crazy spot, which I hope to see. I don't, like I said, I don't know. I don't really like it. I don't really.
Because we know someone who's in that area, right? Not here to dox anyone. But we know someone in that area. And they said, it's like, I don't really want to go.
Right. And besides the fact that, it's probably an arm and a leg to go, I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
also not in a good area of Chicago either.
I'm just not excited for what should be. It's the last stop before WrestleMania. So I should feel more excited. And I think one of the problems is the fact that CM Punk is making this pit stop and defending it against Finn Balor when we know he's going to go on to face Roman. I get it. You got to have your champ. He wants to be this fighting champion, do all that. I get it. I much have rather Finn Balor sit back in the cut and interfere the Mania match.
You want to be a fighting champion, fight a wrestler who's won a match in the last 2 years.
Or if you want, to be
that's like if MJF was like, I'm going to defend my title against Serpentico.
I'm going to defend my title against Evil Uno.
Hold on, I got a little bit of a pet peeve here beyond that, right? If you want to be a fighting champion, it's the Elimination Chamber. When was the last time we had an Elimination Chamber match where the champion defends their championship?
That would have been really cool. That would have been really
CM
cool.
Punk starting the Chamber at 1 in Chicago? Think about how much sympathy you would get throughout the match. How many hope spots and cutoffs?
Not only that, but then that makes him the stature of the match of CM Punk and Roman Reigns that much.
And then you have
bigger.
Roman come out after. You do the stare down in the chamber.
CM Punk can very easily say, "Look here, man. I just went through 5 other. I just put my title on the line against 5 other people, and
you're not built like that.
In the most dangerous match this company has to offer, you're not
all
built
Roman's
like
gotta say is, ain't none of those motherfuckers me."
but that boom, that's the promo. That's the promo. Like, and ain't none of them me.
Can I come in here real quick?
Yeah.
There's this little comment I chose to highlight. Punk versus Roman doesn't really need the belt, though. What's to say Finn can't win? Remember Io winning the title last year? Here's the issue with that, though, JJ. Roman won the Rumble. So if Finn wins, Punk versus Roman is not a match.
Yeah,
it's off the table.
Yeah. you still can't do that match. Yeah,
Roman's going to be like, oh, I'd rather not. I won the Rumble, but I'd rather wrestle CM Punk.
Because then at that point, right?
I'm with you, JJ. I would much rather Finn Balor, Roman Reigns. We can
because then you have the call back to 2016,
6 years ago.
So it's. I'll just say this: like, I'm not uber excited for Chamber. I think they could They could have and should have done a better job building, because we didn't even talked about the women's side. Because I'm definitely not excited for anything on the women's side. Now, I will say this: unfortunately, I did predict, hopefully, a Bianca Belair return. Does not look like that's going to happen. So
she just got out of surgery. So
I want to say a speedy recovery to Bianca Belair. I did some research. It's not just a finger break. I believe it's in the knuckle.
Oh,
and that's a very tough injury to recover from, because your knuckle is essential.
Because I saw her post, and it's like apparently they didn't know the particulars of it. They were trying to figure it out for a whole year, and now she just got the surgery, so now she has the recovery time on top of that.
So speedy recovery to Bianca. It sucks because I would have liked to seen her inserted into this women's event, but
her and Jade would have been great.
Would have been great for Mania. I'm pretty sure that was probably the plan. But
it's a match people wanted since Jade debuted.
Right. But let's transition into last night, guys. Last night was Dynamite. A lot happened. A lot didn't happen as well. I thought the show was good. When I say a lot didn't happen, I understand the possible reasons why, but no Fletcher, no Tekla. That doesn't really sit well with me. I don't really understand, especially the Tekla part. I can maybe understand Kyle Fletcher, but
there were a lot of illnesses coming out.
Right.
It is flu season.
But I'll say this, and we said this on No Dirt. A vignette of something, a visual with Tekla in that title. Hannibal, what you got?
No, see, you got to remember, if somebody's injured, they might be needing to do certain things. If someone's ill, even more so. If you have got the flu, if you're snotty, no amount of makeup is going to make you cut a decent promo that you can tape and fly in. Look, in an ideal world, yes, you would do that. If they were not at the show because of travel issues, because they weren't scheduled in advance, then absolutely do a pre-tape. Absolutely. But if they're sick, it's not as easy as that. Do you really want somebody sending in a video they've recorded off their iPhone 15?
No. My remedy would be to this. They're both a part of factions, right? That's why we saw the Don Callis family segment, right? They brought up Kyle Fletcher. They brought up Takeshita not being there. So that base is covered. With Tekla, she's a part of the Triangle, right? Triangle of Madness. Where's Julia Hart? Where's Sky Blue? Maybe have one of them cut a promo, because we have Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander. That segment. Have something from the Sisters of Sin, or maybe one of the sisters that ties into that.
Yeah, possible.
Julia now has a match with Rosa on Saturday for Collision. Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll see if Tekla makes an appearance, makes a statement by beating the dog shit out of Rosa with the belt. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully she's better enough for Saturday.
I just wish that Tech, I understand, sick, illness. I just would have liked to seen them kind of on the show. But let's talk about one of well, first off, let's talk about the opening match, because I think it was a great opener, really. Well, because we had Mox taking on Mark Davis, and I just want to say, because the only reason I want to talk about this is there's a certain vibe and feeling when Mox opens up the show, right? There's just something about it. Go back, watch a couple of Dynamites where Mox opens the show, and there's just something about it.
And it isn't even a new phenomena either. It goes back.
No, This literally goes. He's always been this way. You know, he's really good. Like, I think Mox takes that. Hey, you're the curtain jerker today. I think he takes that with pride. You know, I think he's like, okay, cool. I'm opening the show. Great. Let's set the vibes. Let's set the energy.
Because you know what I think it is too, right? And it's a really simple thing. It's a small thing, but it's a smart thing. He comes out through the crowd.
Exactly.
So, see, you know, if you're a fan, right? Because I've been there. I remember when Hangman returned for that program with Mox, right? I was a section over from where Mox came out. Holy shit, that's Mox coming out. He's right next to me. Oh my God.
You remember that time the girl fainted and Mox like picked her up off of the ground and kissed her on the forehead? He's like, he's like fucking wrestling Jesus.
I'm surprised she didn't faint again.
I know, I would.
Why Renee's in the crowd every time they're coming out to head that stuff off from now on.
That's why she's doing the pre-match interviews on the floor.
Yeah.
Looking out,
making sure he doesn't try anything.
But I do want to also let's get to one of the real. There's two major things about Dynamite we're going to talk about here, and that the first one being the stipulation that Hangman laid out. For those who saw me on No Dirt earlier, you guys saw I'm not a fan of this stipulation. I don't understand it. Why take yourself out of contention of your company's top title? It leads to, you know, oh, let's try to find a loophole. Let's just, you know, again, I understand you want to goad your opponent into accepting this challenge, but why why cut your nose to spite your face? You know, Hannibal, I'll start with you because we're going to, this is a discussion right here. So how do you feel about the stipulation?
I'm not crashing out about it. A lot of people who are crashing out about it right now are the same people that not a month ago were saying, I don't want Hangman at the top of the card anymore because of that photo. The same people that were saying that I'm not going to watch AEW now because of that photo are now crashing out because how can he put this on the line? What a stupid stipulation. Like, people I don't want to say people are fickle, but they are. And yeah, of course it's a stupid stipulation. Of course it is. But immediately I was thinking, okay, so what happens if he loses, right? What happens then? And there's two ways you can get around it. And I know people have already discussed theories and stuff like that about how you get away with it. The first one, it's the most obvious one, is when he turns heel, he'll just do it anyway, right? But the other one, I was thinking, what happened in the days before when wrestlers got themselves in these positions? You come back as a masked wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Midnight Rider, baby.
Right. And, for a lot of people, Hangman is the kind of, modern day version of a Dusty Rhodes, of a Magnum TA. I could see him quite easily doing a gimmick like that to get another title shot. So you know what? I'm not that mad at it. I think, yeah. Would I have chosen it myself? No. I think, you know what? I can't even say it's predictable, because on the one hand, you would think, well, he has to win because there's no way they're going to give him that stipulation. But on the other hand, it's like, well, is MJF going to lose it so early? And then that is going to be the stipulation and he can't fight for it again? I actually think it's quite clever. I mean, look, as Bischoff said, and I hate quoting Bischoff, but, controversy creates cash. A lot of people have been talking about this stipulation since last night. And that's the kind of thing that you need to continue to, grow in popularity. Not always because you do the best thing or the right thing, but you do the thing that people are talking about for, the days and weeks to come. So we'll see what happens. I'm not panicking about what happens in 3 weeks' time, 6 weeks' time, or 6 months' time. That's for them to work out, figure out, and entertain me with. Let's just go ahead and do it. I'm not going to crash out about it, but I don't love it. But I can see how this could be played.
Grumpy, I'll elect to you. How do you feel about
this? Is it's the trope in wrestling that when you turn babyface, you instantly lose 20 IQ points and you make the dumbest decisions. You say the dumbest things. You put yourself in the dumbest situations. And Hangman does it more than most. You know, he puts his big boot in his mouth before he has thought all the way through the choices or the things that he's going to say. So this is right in line with his character of I'm too brave for my own good. I don't know how to like temper my keep my temper in check. So I think this makes sense for the character of Hangman to do something foolish without thinking it all the way through. That being said, it would have been they didn't have to go all the way with this. Like we talked about last night, it would have been a simpler way to go is just I can never challenge you for any title you ever hold ever again. That would have been a lot cleaner way. That would have been an easier pill for everybody to swallow. Now, those two things being said, I have been thinking about this a lot since last night. And if they go forward with this, I want Hangman to lose. And I'll tell you the reasons why. Because this is like the perfect setup. This is everything that I want. Is Andrade is lurking around. He thinks he got screwed, typical. The heel tried to cheat and it backfired on him, so obviously he got screwed by somebody. Andrade's lurking around. He hates Hangman. He hates that Hangman's got his spot in the title match. Don Callis is always lurking around trying to fuck with Kenny Omega's friends, Hangman being one of them. Hangman getting screwed over by the Don Callis family can never go for that belt again. You know, never say never in wrestling, but he can lock his eyes firmly on Okada and start working his way towards unifying those belts again and becoming the unified world champion. I looked it up. Okada and Page have never been in one-on-one competition in AEW yet. They've been in a bunch of group matches. One with a battle royal, and one was a multi-man elite versus the Don Callis family type of match. But they've never gone one-on-one on AEW television. And if you want to set up the next 6 months of Hangman going after the Don Callis family for costing him the fact that he can never be champion again, ultimately dethroning Don's golden boy Okada and taking his belts away, I think this is the perfect way to set that up. You're giving him the ultimate chip on his shoulder, the ultimate transgression that he's got to go right the wrongs.
But see, that's what I'm saying. If we find these loopholes, then the stipulation was not good to begin with. Advocate, I want to hear from you, and then Ryan as well.
I also think that this might be a strategy from AEW to sort of move our world title scene away from Hangman because, and like I said, I'm not speaking for TK here by any means. But it does feel like Hangman has been a little bit of a thorn in his side as a booker because there's always like a contingent of the fan base who has wanted Hangman as champion, like Hangman to get the push, where you don't have a lot of room for like these other guys who, you know, maybe Tony Khan sees as the future of his company, you know, vis-a-vis Darby Allin or Okada on the heel side of things, you know, like what we're doing is it's sort of like how it worked with Cody. When Cody was here in 2019, they took him out of the title picture, and then that title picture was allowed to grow and change organically without there being like this voice in the back of, you know, the fan base's head is like, oh, well, when is Cody getting that belt? When is it Cody's time? When is it Cody's time? It's never Cody's time. And if Hangman loses this, it won't be his time for the world title ever again either. It's not that big a deal. I mean, they have like 15 belts. So he didn't say he could never wrestle for any title again. He just said he couldn't wrestle for the world title again. So I'm not that bothered by it. I was a little shocked by it in the moment. Lots of Cody jokes, you know, abounded. But other than that, I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with Hangman losing.
To be fair, and to your point, Advocate, like he's a two-time world champ, right?
Yes.
Like, no matter how you feel about the reigns or anything like that, on paper in the history books, he's a two-time world champ. There's lots of people that never got the opportunity in the first place, including Cody. So he's already twice better than Cody was in AEW, you know?
And I just think, too, that it's one of those things to where I don't think that this is going to hurt Hangman. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many rich stories that you can tell with Hangman that don't involve the world title where he can still feel like the top guy or like a focus of your company. You know, like I said, I use Darby as a great example of that, too. While Darby has never held the world title, like at the end of last year, did he not feel like the focus of the show for like 2-3 months straight? Am I crazy on this?
Ryan, what do you think, man?
You know, the more and more that I think about it, Hangman's got to have like a foot fetish or something because he loves to put his own foot in his mouth. And, right, regardless of how I feel on the stipulation itself, what a terrible negotiator. He had the match. Oh, but I want a stipulation. You had the match.
Yeah.
And now you're like, you know, I really want to use the barbed wire baseball bat. So you know what? For that, if I can use a barbed wire baseball bat, I won't challenge for this belt ever again if I lose.
Right. Fundamentally,
you had the match.
That fundamentally didn't make any sense. You know, you had the match. It was you were going to get the
regardless of whatever stipulation you wanted it to be, regardless of whatever you wanted it to be, the main event of AEW Revolution 2026 in Los Angeles, California, March 15th would have been MJF versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW Men's Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Regardless. It would have been that regardless.
But he wanted to use a barbed wire 2x4.
But do you not think...
So he won't challenge for the belt ever again if he loses. But
do you not think, though, like, because we just said there, just like, give me a thought. It's incredibly stupid, right? Mm-hmm. As you said, why would he need to do that if he already had the match? I don't think AEW historically have been that stupid when it comes to, you know, dropping crumbs, dropping story beats. Maybe there's something that we're not seeing here. Maybe there's a reason why it seems so stupid right now, because it's a full sense of security.
You know, the other thing is that, you know, also the fact that MJF's clean victories are very, very, very few and far between. So if he's gonna take that off the table, the best way is just make it all illegal. Fuck it. You want to kick me in the balls? Not if I can hit you in the head with a chair.
To that point, there's another comment I want to bring up here from a fellow collective member, our favorite South African sea dev, the Wrestlefish, where he's like, basically Hangman admitted he can't beat MJF in a fair 1v1, but he's done it twice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last year at Revolution, and then at Forbidden Door, even when odds were stacked against him. Even in an unfair 1v1.
Yeah, and I don't know, refresh my memory, but go back and what's the last clean MJF win as a heel? I don't think there's been one.
I don't think there's been one because I feel like he used the diamond ring.
I don't think I can't remember the last time that man won clean.
The babyface run.
Yeah, but I mean, as a heel.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the thing.
Heel run. He won clean against Bandito. No, did he cheat? I don't remember him cheating. I don't think he hit a low blow or anything. I thought he beat him clean.
He didn't use the ring.
Right. No.
Yeah, I think he used the ring, didn't he?
Did he use the ring?
The ring. He definitely had the ring.
Yeah.
Well, another big development that came out of last night. We had the fantastic match that was Swerve Strickland and Kenny Omega, a pay-per-view level match on TV. Something that, like, I'll never understand why people argue, why would you put this on TV for free? Why wouldn't you put it on TV for free?
My God.
You know, why? Hey, this is so good, I'm going to make you pay for it.
This is why we can't have nice things, because people are stupid.
Well, first off, capitalism has just truly rotted people's brains. Like
money.
I understand the idea of like, you know, making people pay for quality things, but if you're able to give a quality product for free and retain some your customer base,
These
maybe
people must hate the idea of sales.
right,
This is
right.
on sale? Ew, no.
Ew, no.
I'm saving
I wanna
money.
pay full
No.
price. You know?
I want to pay extra. I'm tipping you 30%. What?
But we got
why?
A pay-per-view level match for free. Fantastic match by both of them. I want to say the first time we seen them wrestle each other
Singles,
in a singles match. Great match. Swerve comes out with the victory.
Oh my god.
And yet
so
still attacks Kenny after the match, cementing his heel turn. One thing I want to point out and notice is that it doesn't look like him and Nana are on the same page when it came to
a lot of hesitation from Nana.
It came to attacking Kenny. But it looks like we got a full-on heel Swerve Strickland. I think he kind of works best as a heel. I think that's where he can really stretch his legs out. I'm excited for this. I will say we speculated this last week that this may be the write-off for Kenny, because he's more than likely not going to be on Revolution. And it looks like they did indeed write him off. So as we go around the room and we talk about this heel turn, I want you guys to predict who do you guys think Swerve will face at Revolution. Grumpy, I'll start with you.
Well, okay, I'm gonna have to come back to that second question, but this Swerve did this in two parts, and I've said this in our post Dynamite Spaces too. So last week, Swerve cut the perfect setup promo because what did he do? He came after Kenny's illness. He called Kenny weak. He called him a coward. He said he was running scared when Kenny was actually laid up in a hospital bed, an inch from death with the diverticulitis, right? So if you want to lay the groundwork for heel turn, you go after the Golden Boy and you insult him and you attack his injury when that is something he could never control. Phase 2, last night, they had their match and it was so back and forth. It was so great. And it was one of those things where either guy could have won. And Swerve did pull out the victory. Up to that point, well, no, I take that back. Let's rewind just a step. He pulled Aubrey in front of the way to save himself from the V-trigger. Okay. Some people could have taken that at the commentators took that as inadvertent. No, it was obviously intentional. So he wins by semi-nefarious means. Then immediately after, what does he do? He attacks a wounded Kenny and hangs him with the chain, puts him through the table. So the second week in a row, he's attacking the heart and soul of the company. He's attacking the golden prince of AEW, the one that the fans love more than anybody else. And I don't think this would have worked as well with anybody else besides Kenny. So, the heel turn is complete because they're not going to forgive Swerve for costing us Kenny for the next month on television and then on the pay-per-view. Simple as that. So it's perfectly executed. As far as who he'll face, I don't have an answer for that. You might have to come back to me.
Yeah, no, it's tough because he's got to, he's got to, be on the card. If Kenny's not going to be on the card, he's got to be on the card. Hannibal, what do you think about the Swerve heel turn, and do you have an opponent for Swerve at Revolution?
I mean, number one, it was very obvious when he pulled Aubrey Edwards in the way that it was definitely deliberate. So
he was smiling.
Oh yeah, he saw what was coming and then pulled her in front of him. He knew what was going on. Also, pop for the vertebrae through the table. My favorite finisher of all time. Very rarely see it anymore, and he just stood on the steps, and did it through the table, the announce table. Just beautifully done. Great match. As an opponent, I'm struggling because the thing is, normally in these situations, right, it would be the friends of the fallen would then kind of like try and get revenge for their friend, right? But who were Kenny's friends? The Bucks. They're going to be tied up in the pay-per-view. He's not involved with the Don Callis family at the moment, not really the Death Riders either. Realistically, he wants to be going for a title, but I think the national title is probably going to be defended against Jack Perry. So I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? They've got like 2 or 3 more weeks before the pay-per-view. So there's time to get something set up and get us on our way. And I'm not even going to put the comment up, but no, James. It's a vertebraker. It's not the cop killer. Shane Helms did it first. Yeah, I'm not having that.
Hold on. In honor of Black History Month, I'm calling it the Gringo Killer.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm calling it the Gringo Killer. And the cop killer in honor of Black History Month.
The Gringo cop
Argue with your
killer.
mama. Huh?
Gringo cop killer.
You're the Gringo cop killer. That would be us. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, he could call it the icebreaker. Oh no, they need that. All right, no, never mind.
Brody King needs to start doing it now.
That's hilarious. Oh man, hey Bandito, new move.
That's Brody's.
Oh yeah, that's Brody's. Yeah, the icebreaker. Yeah. Ryan, I see you had your hand up first, so I'll go to you.
So, I think well, there's some production issues on Dynamite. Going to the wrong cameras. I thought the production for the Swerve heel turn was great. Everything was where it needed to be. Everything was shot beautifully. The vertebraker was done great. Had the right intentions. It was done to the right guy. All that was great. But the real question, as you said, who does Swerve face at the pay-per-view, right? Bucks are tied up. Hangman's tied up. It's not like he's going to do heel versus heel, right?
Aubrey?
Aubrey, there you go.
But there's still a couple of friends of Kenny's, mutuals through maybe someone like Hangman Page.
Brandon Cutler.
And they've wrestled before, so it's a follow-up to a previous match with a new dynamic. Give me Swerve and Kevin Knight for Revolution. They're not defending the trios belts. Let's be real, it's a dead division.
I love Kevin Knight, but I'm like, as a ticket purchaser, to me, that does not, at least as it stands right now, that doesn't feel like a pay-per-view.
But that's why you have time to build. It's February 19th. There's about a month left before the pay-per-view. Give it the time to build. Put your television time, dedicate it towards Jet Speed wanting to stand up for their mutual friend, Kenny Omega. Right? And get the singles match.
But I mean, where's Hangman in on all of this?
Hangman has his own problems.
But that's just what I'm saying is I'm like, oh, you're going to attack his group is going. So one of his group members in Hangman, he's just like, oh, I ain't got time for this right now. I would keep Jet Speed away from this personally.
I think after the match last night, Swerve had that post on Twitter where, it was Hangman crossed him off. The Bucks crossed them off. Now Kenny crossed them off. There's a very deliberate thing with the Elite going on. So we need somebody Elite adjacent. And there's been
Jet
names
Speed
going
are
around.
Elite adjacent.
Kinda.
Hangman's a part of the Elite. They team. Jet Speed teams with Hangman. That's Elite adjacent. Dictionary definition.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, am I crazy? Is anybody else in here? Is that like a match that you guys want to see at the pay-per-view?
No. I think Kevin Knight should be the one to join. If we're going to be remaking,
I like that better.
If we, want to remake a mogul embassy, if we want to kind of surround people around Swerve in this heel turn, I think Kevin Knight.
Well, I was thinking of using that as the match as a conduit for him to join. Right? You lose to Swerve again. Swerve with a bigger edge.
You beat me, so let me join you. Nigga, why would I join you? You just beat me.
If you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah, but can't beat him.
Tale as old as time, brother.
If anything, then it should be Bailey against Swerve and Knight turns on Bailey. But then what do you do with the trios belt? Do they just vacate him?
the idea, if you can't beat them, join
put
them.
them on the demand.
Off, if you
They're
can't beat them
on Saturday,
if you say can't beat them, join them, you're a coward. One, just off the strength, you're a coward. So why would Swerve, a person who I ran in this man's house and disturbed his baby? Why would I want a coward? Why would I want somebody who, oh, I can't beat you, so can I be with you? Why? No, ew, gross.
bodies are
Like,
bodies. Somebody take the fall.
Somebody, yeah. But Advocate, you've got some feelings, obviously, about what can what we may potentially see. What did you feel about the heel turn itself? Like, what did you think?
I thought it was brilliant. Like I said, I know that people were particularly Grumpy was really in on Shivani and them for the sort of playing dumb. But I do think that the reason
playing dumb
is because they wanted that moment when Swerve does attack a prone Kenny. They wanted it to land. They didn't want to because there was still 10 more minutes of match after that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciated that. It's they were locked in, they knew what was going to happen in this finish, and they wanted the audience to be with them for the whole journey. So I had no notes. I'm so happy to see Swerve as a heel again. I cannot wait. He's so diabolical. He's so cool. He's got so much aura. Put the world title on him. Let's go. I also loved and like I said, I'm not saying that they're doing anything with this, but they planted the seeds of sort of maybe Kenny to get revenge on Swerve. Maybe he's going to seek advice or counsel from Bryan Danielson, a guy who famously has beaten Swerve not once, but twice in AEW.
It's also not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Kenny can make it back in time to close the show.
This is true. That's what I'm really hoping for. In terms of opponent, I'm not sure. What I'm really hoping for is the rematch at Revolution.
I mean, if he gets right on that red-eye flight from Tokyo, he can make it. He can make
Kenny
it
back.
This is something that we talked about on No Dirt last week, but Tony can give him that jet.
Yeah.
So Tony can give him that jet.
So it's pointed out that Prince Nana was a little bit on the fence, right? And we're trying to think of things that Swerve could do. And people have mentioned about a new embassy. I can see that. Now, there's a couple of people that are a little bit stuck in limbo at the moment because of injury. And that Shelton Benjamin is one of them. The other one's MVP. Now, what's bigger, the Mogul Embassy or the Hurt business, the Hurt Syndicate? Now, I think you could quite easily, we don't know how long Bobby's out for, right? But let's just say Bobby's out for 6 months. Long time to not really know what to do with Shelton.
I see where you're going.
Really know what to do with MVP. So why don't we create I don't know, a Mogul Syndicate and throw in a Kevin Knight,
the Hurt Embassy.
There you go. I think, and that way you're utilizing MVP. So look, Swerve doesn't need a manager. He doesn't need a mouthpiece. But
a heel does.
Used to it.
Yeah.
We got so used to it. It's only a good thing. An MVP, makes everyone look like $1 million. So you know what? Throw them together. Shelton isn't doing very much at the moment. It gives him something to do. So throwing Kevin Knight, you've got a trios or 3 singles. Put them together. You can have them take on Jet Set Rodeo. Yeah. I think that's the way to go.
I mean, again, there's a lot that you can do with a heel Swerve. I think everybody really, really enjoys a heel Swerve because I think his heel run really, truly earned him the most dangerous man in wrestling. I like that moniker, and he's earned that, But overall, I guess we like Dynamite as a whole. It was a good show, great ending. A lot to look forward to for Revolution. But As we transition into kind of the final part of the show, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to listen to us talk a little bit of wrestling. If you are on Twitter, please make sure to come over to YouTube, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You'll know when we go live. And if you want a cool piece of wrestling merch that doesn't really look like wrestling merch, something that you can always wear in or out of a wrestling show, you can find that at shopwc.com. You can find yourself.
Our collective member Carlos was wearing.
If you're following us on Twitter, or
as seen on TV,
the collective of the Octopus Hold shirt made its television debut last night. Very, very happy about it. Well, it's second day because we were on TV.
The back half of it.
Yeah, the back hat. Yeah. So we were definitely on TV there. But oh man, what happened to Grabs? But anyway, as we transition into the later half of the show, as the thumbnail says, and as we talked about earlier, we're going to talk a little bit of corporatization in wrestling. And there's a lot to break down and talk about when we talk about corporatization in wrestling, guys. Is it good? Is it bad? Like, what are the good examples? What are the bad examples? So I'll ask, really quickly, what do you guys think of the idea of wrestling going corporate? The last couple of years, in the last decade or so, wrestling has kind of gone corporate. It's no longer, it doesn't feel like this kind of backyard thing, people are more open with being wrestling fans nowadays. I don't want to say it's mainstream quite yet, but along with getting mainstream, you get more corporate. So we're seeing a lot more sponsorships. We're seeing a lot more adverts. We're seeing a lot more wrestling talent doing non-wrestling things. So I want to get you guys' quick, comments on just the idea of wrestling going corporate. And I'm going to start with some of the elder statesmen because we've seen, from its inception, the kind of start of the corporatization of wrestling. So, Advocate, I'll start off with you. What do you think about this kind of? No, you're not ready?
No, I'm ready. I just don't like it.
What do you think about this corporatization of wrestling?
I think it's lame. Look, I've already accepted that regardless of company, that it's going to just be something that I'm going to have to deal with as a fan. Like, they need to make that money. I can't be too mad about that. But to me, pro wrestling should be inherently, it should feel, it should look dangerous. Like, it should feel outsider of the norm. Like, one of the things why it's become so corporate is because pro wrestling has become so mainstream. And there's a part of me that really hates that, because the more mainstream it comes, especially on like the WWE side of things, like, then it loses all of its edge. It loses all of the rough edges that make wrestling like fun and exciting for me. It loses its grit. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I don't ever want to see go away from wrestling. Like, that's something that draws me to it.
I pulled up an image that I feel like supports your point. Would you like to see it?
Yeah. So Graps, whenever you feel is appropriate, let's start.
Got a little bit of image analysis here that I would like to convey. So this is from the 2025 Money in the Bank ladder match, right? Who wants to do a little bit of counting with?
So we've got Fireball, we've got Cash App, Slim Jim, we got Cricket Wireless. I don't know what that is.
There's that one little thing in the corner that kind of looks like Pizza Hut.
I want to say it looks like Red Bull almost too. I don't know. And then you got the one in the middle of the ring. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got.
Oh, we're not done. We are not done, because if you look in a little closely, right, and you'll be able to see this more on the right set of them. But if you look on the turnbuckles, there's 2 separate advertisements on the top turnbuckle and the bottom turnbuckle. So we are now at 8 separate advertisements. I don't see any on the announce tables. Usually there's the prime cart in the corner. I don't see that, surprisingly. But we are at and I'm looking in the right under the Netflix internationally. That's a different advertisement from the Slim Jim. So we're actually at 9 different advertisements in this one image. I think it's a bit excessive.
And I like the way Advocate put it, kind of makes wrestling lose its grit, but look at the production, look at that camera angle, look at the lighting, those are some of the things that come with corporatization in wrestling. So
bigger
Hannibal,
budgets.
Yeah, Hannibal, I'll go to you. How do you feel? I mean, again, we're close, relatively. We're peers age-wise. We've seen from the Bret Hart, what was it? I can't remember that workout thing that he started. That commercial, that famous commercial.
Was it Ico Pro?
Yeah. With that, we've seen.
Wasn't that also a Titan Sports?
It was
thing?
Titan Sports.
Titan Sports. Yeah. But we've seen that to Macho Man and Slim Jim to Sting and the famous Sting Sprite commercial, so we've seen a lot. We've seen it all. Would you? I think it's a little bit different nowadays, though.
I mean, I hate corporate consumeration. It's just something that drives me mad. I hate seeing logos everywhere, and I hate companies kind of taking over things, which reminds me, I'm a bit parched, and when I'm parched, one of the things that I really like to do is have a nice cold can of Tango. It's a famous fruit drink here in the UK. Use discount code Hannibal for 10% off your order. And also,
well, hold on, we're conflicting now because I have this wild cherry Pepsi here. Use code Get Yourself Over for 15% off.
My God.
Yes.
What is
everybody
happening?
knows that the WrestleCollective.
Get off of me. Why is this still on solo? There we are.
Everybody knows that the WrestleCollective supports.
I too hate corporate logos. I too hate corporate logos. We need to stop this.
Wait, you thought I was done? No, I got rival sponsorships here. Coca-Cola.
Bro, put that shirt away. We know that's dirty.
The problem with all of this is it's just millionaires, spending money on things and trying to make you to buy stuff that you don't want to do. Which reminds me, you don't have to be a billionaire to buy a billionaire boys club hat.
My God.
This fucking guy, man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh God! No, first off, that's a fire hat. That's a fire hat.
Hold on, guys. We're not
Get it on a
done
fire
here.
sale as well.
Oh God!
I got word from Adam Silver from the NBA. We need to plug FanDuel and DraftKings here. Gamble responsibly.
Who's got
gambling AI dick pills. Yeah, that's all.
Yep. And this is why we got to find the Jazz of the Pacers.
So the thing is, in all seriousness, is I think it's always kind of been there a little bit, right? For most of my time watching wrestling, you wouldn't see adverts in the ring. You wouldn't even necessarily see them at ringside, but you'd have, in your house brought to you by Karate Fighters by Milton Bradley or Snickers.
Snickers was a big one back in the day. Yeah.
Or WrestleMania brought to you by RC Cola. I can't tell you how excited I was to try RC Cola when I found it in another country. And I was like, this is really shit cola. But I believed it was good because it was sponsoring the wrestling at the time. So I don't have a problem.
Is that why you're a DC fan?
Correct. No, it's the thing is, like, I don't mind when, stuff like that. Stuff like that's fine. Right, I've got no issue with there being something, but I think, and I know this was something they did in Mexico for a long time, right? So I know it's not particularly new. UFC have done it, but when you have got so many sponsors in a ring, do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember we used to go to like TGI Fridays, and the waiters would have with all the different pin badges, and you're like, there's too much for me to look at. I don't know what these badges even mean. That's what it's like. when you have that image there of the Money in the Bank match, what am I supposed to be looking at?
Mm-hmm.
What am I? It's like, do you remember those websites where you'd have like all the adverts in there?
You're supposed to be looking at Fireball, Slim Jim, Cricket Wireless, whatever that was in the middle.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much, and so it's too noisy. It reduces.
ShopWC.com.
It reduces the impact for me, and I think it's distracting, and I feel that it's gone too far. I don't think it should be taken out, but it's too much.
You had brought up CML, and I got a question for Advocate real quick.
They have so many.
What is Rosh Frames?
I don't know. I've been looking for it. Every time I go to the Mexican grocery store or a store, I'm like, yo, you got Rosh Franz? What is that?
Well, we should probably go to Mexico when the collective does CMLL. I guess we'll find out. Grumpy, I want you to kind of tell me a little bit about how you feel, and then give me because then I'll start off with you with the next part. What are some good examples of corporatization in wrestling?
Well, I'll tell you what. Seeing that ring, that WWE ring, and I know that they've cut it back since then. And thank God, because that is just an epilepsy nightmare of just way too much happening, right? It was like someone threw up on the mat. So it's gross. They've cut it back. I know. Good for them. Please have learned from that lesson. So the thing that I want to transition to is, when can it be good? When can you make the things align? And I think there's a perfect example of that. And I'm going to sound like a huge homer because it's an AEW wrestler. But if WWE had done something similar to this in the same vein and made the themes stick the way that AEW did for this, I would be all about it. I would be all about it. I would be praising it. And you can tell me if they have an example that I've missed. But AEW has a massively over wrestler named the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. His finisher is called the Hidden Blade. He has an Assassin's Creed tattoo on the inside of his arm. His all-in entrance was themed and sponsored by Ubisoft when they were releasing their new Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
They did one last year for it too.
So my issues with Ubisoft as a company and their practices notwithstanding, this was a great bit of making the pieces fit, the themes fit. It felt authentic. Will comes out in his Assassin's Creed themed gear all the time. The All-In before this one, he had it was the Union Jack theme, but it had the cloak, it had the Ezio kind of cloak down the arm and the hood. And he came out with the pose, and he looked like he looked like he walked straight off the cover of the video game.
Because it's also a very delicate thing, right? Because if you veer a little far from it, then you know what you have? The War Raiders dress it up as classic
and that's where I think, as we talk about a good example, let's quickly talk about a bad example.
And I'll tell you what would be a bad example. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I have one point here. So Will comes out dressed as Ezio Auditore, and he fits the part perfectly. Poor Dom, and my heart goes out to Dom Mysterio, is going to have to come out with dude wipes on his shirt.
As we
what the fuck? And, I mean, what did that poor guy do to deserve that? He's put his heart and soul into his character and into WWE and his family legacy, and he's going to have to.
I guess his character is an asshole, so it makes sense to have his sponsorship be something related to assholes.
We'll see how they spin it. I am not going to hold my breath.
Even then, it's still better than,
I mean, my thing is this,
let's just take a look at this.
When we talk, that's just bad. When we talk, I'll wait, to go to more bad examples, but I do want to talk about some good examples, right? And I think another great example was the AEW House of the Dragon, partnership or synergizing in particular. They themed that show around the season 2 premiere of House of the Dragon. So much so they had the American Dragon in a match, right? So everything played
With
off
Ricky
of
the
one
Dragon
another.
Steamboat as special guest
With
referee.
Rick, thank you, with Ricky the Dragon. So they played off of the theme. It wasn't too much. You didn't have Brian come out dressed as Prince Aelin. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, it looked great. It felt great. That House of the
Dragon Lee.
And you had Dragon Lee on that show as well. Like, they played into the theme of it without overdoing it. You didn't have,
and you know something too that they did afterwards. Whenever Ricky Steamboat would come out for his appearances, you know what his graphics were themed after? House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. You didn't have Daniel Garcia dressed up as Prince Aemon, that's a Game of Thrones. You know, he's in the show. I watched the show. Big fan. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have that, right? You didn't have him quote or say something or make some weird backstage commercial that tends to happen. That's, I believe, is a great example of,
and it's not the only time they did it too, right? This year, a show I went to, Full Gear, was brought to you by DC.
Oh, that was because you got the DC AEW partnership, which Hannibal so graciously picked up a cover variant of, in which, again, there are good examples of this, like corporatization.
Because he didn't have Hangman coming out to the Superman music dressed as Superman.
You know what I'm saying? And that's another good one. Remember when the Superman movie came out and they had the commercial with Kenny Omega and whatnot, and I can't remember his name.
Because I remember they also had like the panels around the barricade of all the DC characters, and then they had the Minecraft one. I don't. That's not really up my alley.
Yeah, that one didn't hit for me either.
But to be fair, WWE this year, the beginning of this year, had their Stranger Things themed episode,
which was I say what you want. That was good,
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, but what they did wasn't great. But what I liked about it was they made the set look like the Upside Down. They had props from the show. They didn't like have a match with the Demogorgon. Do you know what I mean? Like the Demogorgon.
They didn't have Mr. Iguana come out as Mr. Vecna.
Y'all remember when they had that zombie match to promote Batista's?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
But this is where you have to have the fine balance, right? And look, if you want a weird AEW one, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game.
That one was. I mean, that one.
That was hilarious. That was funny bad.
Yeah,
they made a whole title.
That was funny bad.
Yeah.
That was Sharknado bad.
Yeah, it was not great at all.
The thing I'll say about the AEW ones, while I don't love those either, a lot of times like they're a lot more tongue in cheek, and it's like, they're trying to take you along for the ride. They're like, obviously this White Castle sponsorship is a silly thing, but we're going to be silly about it. Like we're not trying to earnestly, there's like a tongue in cheek when they do like the Texas Chainsaw.
The Bacon Brawl combo.
Jeff Jarrett, by the way, still the champion. Never lost it. Let's not forget.
He is the Texas Deathmatch champion, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That I don't know.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre Deathmatch champion.
I can't wait
forever champion. He's never dropping it because it's never going to get defended.
Put that belt on the line in TNA is crazy. there are. I'll tell you another example I thought was great. The Prime Bottle Man. And then putting him in the game.
Oh, that being KSI?
Yes, that was actually pretty good because one, KSI, Logan Paul, you got that connection there, and if you're gonna do, have the Prime Bottle, stuff, be a little interactive with it. Have some fun with it, right? Have some fun with it.
Splash through the table,
but that fails in comparison. Well, that's a good one but then you look back a couple of years prior where Nick Nemeth was the Colonel, and they did a match / commercial for KFC.
I think it was a dark match that they filmed.
They shot
a commercial.
You know what I mean? Like, what do we? Like we don't need to integrate. Things. And before we start to get to some of these bad ones, I do want to say that, again, overall, these are the good examples of how it can be done. Like, no one is saying You know, no one is saying that like, oh, we shouldn't do, have, sponsorships on the ring. There is a good way to do it.
Yeah, look at New Japan. The design of how they have it.
And then there's bad ways to do it, which having effectively one of your top heels come out with baby wipes, which is
dude wipes.
No, they're baby
dudes.
wipes. Saying
they're
you can remarket
for dudes.
You can remarket them all you want.
Yeah,
they're baby.
They're baby wipes for adults, like adult diapers.
Yeah. I think that makes him look. And granted, we'll probably forget that it's there. It's not like they're selling the shirts with dude wipes on them, but man, it looks fucking stupid. Like
I will be right back. There's something.
It's starting to feel like, there was if you were watching the Super Bowl this year, which I'm pretty sure you guys were, people were.
I didn't.
There was a issue with the jerseys and having too many patches, too much on the jerseys. I think we're slowly getting to that point to where we are going to see advertisements on wrestlers' gear.
Yep.
And I think if we get to that point, we
had it before with Brock Lesnar and Jack Links, if you guys remember.
But that made sense because it felt like he was walking straight from the octagon to the ring.
Yes.
And that's
he
why
had those sponsorships. He had those sponsorships in place before he came back to wrestling. It made sense.
But even then, with what he wore, and then the fight shorts, the gloves, the fight gloves, and it felt like he walked straight from a UFC octagon to a WWE ring. So that one I can understand, but like we're gonna have every time Dom comes out, I got to look at dude wipes. So what? Okay, next thing you know, we're gonna have I'll only do this because they did it to themselves. What, we're gonna have the Street Profits come out in Wingstop gear?
Well, I mean, they did their little Pizza Hut little segments, but to the point, because I had to grab some. I'm doing a little show and tell here, but Dom and his, the dude wipe shirt. I didn't know I had this in the house. I did not purchase this before anyone says anything. Dumpkin Spice dude wipes.
Hey, I ain't finna lie to you.
Bro, you 100% bought those.
If you walk around,
definitely bought.
If you walk around with your movie you walking around with your movie smelling like hungry. Hey, that ain't too bad. I don't know why we're flavoring baby wipes.
That is how you get yeast infections.
You know what? Hold on. What are we doing? Some of these wrestling fans can use this because some of these wrestling fans smell like they ain't washed their ass ever.
You talk about corporatization. I think the best form of corporatization in wrestling, one of these companies, whether it be AEW, WWE, TNA, New Japan, GCW, it don't matter. They need to sponsor up with Degree. They need to sponsor up with Dove Men's.
Old Spice.
They need to,
hang on. Do you guys
Dr.
not
Squatch.
remember? Do you not remember WCW Nitro like aftershave for men?
I do remember.
I do.
Yeah.
That's one of the funniest things with Bobby the Brain. He'd
I'm
be like,
sorry, what?
This stinks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But look, here's something else.
I'm the youngin' here, so I'm the only one who doesn't know about this. There was WCW Nitro aftershave.
I'm pretty sure
there was a Nitro Grill at one point.
Yeah.
There was a whole restaurant dedicated.
I just watched a YouTube video on that. I'm like, I wish I could have gone to that Nitro.
There is a rumor, and I haven't been able to to prove this to be true or false. But I've got it.
The WCW Nitro Grill, that was a restaurant. I thought that was like one of those like George Foreman grills.
No. That was a restaurant, brother. That was a restaurant.
But I've got it on good authority.
Better or worse than Pastamania?
Better.
I actually heard it was pretty good.
Yeah.
There was a gold burger that was actually supposed to be really good. Google the menu. You can be able to find the menu. Yeah. Go ahead, Hannibal.
I've got it on good authority that Juice Springsteen actually smells of WCW Nitro aftershave for men. But no one else has ever smelt it, so Who knows for sure?
Who knows?
There is one thing. There is one thing about the rising corporate sponsorships as well that we haven't touched on. The advertising, right? So Macho Man famously was the king of Slim Jim, right? He had that deal wasn't with WWF or WCW. That was a deal that he had directly with Slim Jim. He was the face. He was in all the commercials, you know, even to this day. Nowadays, they have LA Knight be the face of Slim Jim. But there's a big difference now with LA Knight being the face of Slim Jim and Macho Man being the face of Slim Jim. When Macho Man was the face of Slim Jim, those adverts were on television, right? The adverts that WWE do now for KFC, for Slim Jim, for any of the companies I have sponsorships with, they're shown on the PLEs. They're never shown on television because those companies have real adverts which don't feature those stars.
Well, granted, you're
Sorry?
also watching on Netflix.
Well, no, well, it depends. If the PLE's on there, yeah. But I don't think they even do the adverts on Raw. But
I'm saying because you're over in Europe, all WWE content is done through Netflix for you.
Yeah. So when they do that, yes, you would see it on Netflix. But what I'm saying is that, you know, it used to be the case that when, you know, like with Sting with Sprite, right? That was an advert that was shown nationwide. Now these adverts are shown on the programming because wrestling stars in today's economy are not mainstream stars. So when they're doing these advert spots, you know, you can say LA Knight's the new face of Slim Jim. Where? Because it's not on television. It's only if you're watching WWE products.
And you know, and I'm glad that you brought that up because it's funny how they allow. I think they should have just given
$6.
I feel like they should have just given him the sponsorship because there's another sponsorship that one particular wrestler has that's like the Macho Man deal, and that was John Cena. John Cena has a deal with McDonald's, not WWE. So it's kind of weird, you know, where they allow, because I imagine John's getting a larger cut than what LA Knight is getting from his deal with you know, Slim Jim. Different companies, different bankrolls, I understand, but again, it's interesting to see where we've gone in corporatization with wrestling. Because, like I said, you got Bianca Belair and LA Knight, kind of the faces of Slim Jim, but not really the faces.
Don't forget Eat Man. Eat Man's there too.
Yeah, and then you got Jey Uso, who's kind of the quicker, wireless guy.
But he's also doing the Slim Jims. If you saw the Slim Jim too, because if you saw the Slim Jim gym ad, he was in there.
You know, so
why is it Jimmy Uso a part of it?
You know, there are good examples. I think we talked, you know, there are good examples, there are bad examples. Corporatization of wrestling, it's here to stay. It's one of the only ways that we can make wrestling mainstream. And so I think the only thing that we can kind of really hope for is less dude wipes and more House of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, less Clash of Clans, more Prime sponsorship. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to do the comparisons to you know, I want to, so less Clash of Clans, more Slim Jim. I like the way they do Slim Jim. Yeah. I don't like Slim Jim on the tables. Not a big fan of
Slim Jim car.
But you know, the Slim Jim, you know, when LA Knight pulled up in the Slim Jim, that was cool. That was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, you know, because you remind, oh yeah, he is with Slim Jim or whatnot.
I like this catchphrase they got for it too, for the Slim Jim ads. Get savage.
You know what I'm saying?
As an homage to Macho Man.
That's cool. Yeah. I never even heard that before.
Yeah, it's a. So I think we, you know, there are good examples, bad examples of corporatization, but I'll say it's not going anywhere. It is one of the only ways that wrestling will become mainstream. And if you don't, it's hard though, because Advocate, you brought up a great point. Wrestling needs a bit of grit. Wrestling needs a bit of edge. But the only way we can get back, you know, is grow, is you got to lose a bit of that edge. You got to lose a bit of that grit, you know, so less Clash of Clans, you know, and more Slim Jim. You know, because that look at you. That was great. Dope car and everything too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys get some closing thoughts on this, and then we're gonna head out. So Hannibal, I'll let you go first.
No, I think you're right. I think it is here to stay. It's just I hope they find the right balance. And like I said, you know, when they did the Stranger Things episode of Raw, when they did the Superman episode or the House of Dragons episode for AEW, that's what I like to see. I like to see the brand being used, and it feels more organic than just being shoehorned in. You know, what wrestlers can we get to dress up in a stupid costume this week? You know, that's why the Clash of Clans things irked so many people, I think, because it just felt like it was shoehorned in. More things that fit the product, I'd be a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
Grumpy, I'll let you closing feelings on corporatization in wrestling.
Yeah, just be smart about it, man. Make it make sense. Don't shoehorn something in there and have it be obviously out of place. You're if you're a smart company and you've got access to resources and you've got access to people and you've got access to marketing people who do this for a living and can make it look seamless, take advantage of that. Don't just shoehorn things in there that don't have to be there. Make it make sense. Make it smart.
Mm-hmm.
Advocate.
Make wrestling more punk rock. I finished my ship while we were doing the podcast.
Nice.
Speaking of punk rock, we didn't talk about the Brawling Birds' new gear.
Oh, we didn't. How great it is!
Awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah.
How to get a shout out for my girls on the show.
Oh, of course.
You're champions.
My champions.
Yeah, you're. Ryan, what do you think
Congratulations
about...
to Alex Windsor on becoming one of Grumpy's champions.
My proxy, but I liked her anyway.
I mean, it doesn't bode well. None of his champions have ever won belts, unfortunately.
How dare you? Their time is coming.
Hey, listen, Jamie won her belt before she was one of Grumpy's champions.
So did Kenny.
That's what it's like being a New York Jets fan. Anyways, less advertisements, but don't get rid of them all. Be smart about them, right? Kind of like follow the blueprint of you're an entertainment product. Advertise other entertainment products that don't necessarily compete with what you're doing, right? Look at DC, look at Assassin's Creed, look at, less iDrinq, less Woo Energy, more Slim Jim and Prime, I guess.
Have you guys ever watched Pancrase, the 90s shoot style? They used to be sponsored by Redman, the chewing tobacco. So they had the giant Redman logo. That looked badass.
Yeah.
It's sponsored by tobacco companies.
Yeah, you got the Outrunners.
WWE used to be sponsored by the anti-tobacco company. What was it, like the Truth thing or whatever?
The Outrunners, by the way, who owe me royalties for the Camel Turkish Royals idea. So I have not forgotten. At least you could at least make me an honorary member of the team.
Listen, Truth follows you. DM him.
Just might.
That is going to wrap it up for us this week on the WrestleCollective Weekly. Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to hear us talk a little bit about wrestling. Again, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. You see all of our ads on here. Please, if you're not following any one of us, make sure you follow. Make sure to definitely follow.
If you're on the YouTube, click the link in the description. That's where you'll find all of our socials.
Click the link in the description, as well as shopdubc.com. Get you some wrestling merch, man. Get you some wrestling merch, brother. March 1st.
We should get this somewhere on the screen, become more corporate, just like wrestling.
March 1st, Queens Road episode 5, I believe, will be
Collection 5.
Collection 5 is on the docket. A lot to talk about in the world of women's wrestling. And then
that's the day after the Chamber, right?
That is the day after the Chamber. So a lot to look forward to. A lot to look forward to on that. Of course, we always got Wrestling with Tism every Monday. That is your if you want to take a pause from wrestling for a little bit, but yet still stay wrestling adjacent, Wrestling with Tism is the show for you. That is headed by
Ain't that right, Hannibal?
yeah, Hannibal, you are on that crew. So yeah, it is a fun show. Definitely make sure to join. And it's one of the only shows where you can join in on. So if you want to join in and be on the Wrestling with Tism show on Mondays, watch the Twitter, check the chats. There's probably a link in there waiting for you to join in on the show. We would love to have you on Wrestling with Tism every Monday.
And we're on video, but you don't have to be.
So fun.
Yes. And of course, you can find us every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. We are the WrestleCollective. Once again, before we close out, I want to just, again, reiterate the statement. We are here to end tribalism. And ending tribalism is not an easy task. Sometimes you find yourself on one side of the fence or another. But the best way to end tribalism is to, one, hold each other with kindness and respect. There's no need to ever run somebody down because they disagree with you or because you disagree with them. So if there's any gem that I could leave for the people today is in this space that we are in, let's just remember to be kind and respectful to one another. It's just wrestling. There's no need to do the things that people do. It's just wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Ending tribalism sounds a little hard. Can we just put a dent in it or something?
Yeah. We'll put a dent. It's hard, but we're here for it. We're here for it. But that is going to do it for the WrestleCollective. I believe we don't have anything planned going on this weekend. Or actually, I'll say, look out for the WrestleCollective Twitch and the YouTube channel. I believe we're going to be starting a new stream gaming. We're finally expanding into the gaming part of our lives. Me and Grumpy will be playing Baldur's Gate 3. If you're a big Baldur's Gate fan, if you like D&D, we're going to be setting that up for tomorrow.
I'm ready to slick along on my murdering spree. We're going to kill everybody.
We're not doing a Dark Urge playthrough. He keeps trying to get me to do a darker. We're not doing that. So definitely check us out tomorrow. We're going to be streaming a little bit of Baldur's Gate. Going to be bringing that to you guys probably like every other Friday type of deal. It's going to be really, really fun.
I want to give y'all some homework for next week. For a little bit of a fun question for next week. Because I don't want to spring it on you now. It might be a little hard.
I like that. That's fun.
Next week, at the end of the show, I want to know what your guys' WCW Nitro Grill orders would be.
Oh, okay, I got you. Speaking of next week,
burger with cheese, baby.
and speaking of next week, I'll just go ahead and drop this. Next week, Collective Games are back. We're going to be doing a little bit of Collective Jeopardy, a little bit of Wrestling Jeopardy. So I'm going to be doing my best game show host impression once again. So make sure to tune in next week. We're bringing back some games. We're going to be playing Collective Jeopardy. It's going to be real, real fun. Who out of these four guys do you think is going to take it home? It's going to be very, very interesting.
I'll take Letits now for 200, please.
Oh man, that is going to do it. We're going to wrap.
Connery, it says let it snow.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you. Please tune in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll know when the WrestleCollective goes live. That is going to be it for us. You guys be safe. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
CM Punk, put the bell on
ShopWC.com. Ladies and gents, thanks for stopping by. And until next time, this is the WrestleCollective.